Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Tone, aka Tony Viz. First off, thanks for to the subscribers and the comments I got from some of you, and I appreciate that you took the time to come and listen to me and recap the shows. So anyway, with that in mind, I guess we can get right into Raw. I'll start. Overall, I know that I don't know how other people will see it, but I actually did not care for the show this week. I just thought it seemed to drag. It seemed to really 3-hour shows for me generally tend to go on. Seem to be a little bit long in the tooth, as the saying goes. So I think there was a lot of crazy stuff on the show, and it was like, to me, I mean, other people, some of you might have found some of it entertaining, but I personally didn't really care for most of it. I guess we can kick it off with how the show started. The opening segment, actually, I thought, was not really, it was just a typical opener, it was until Edge came out. And his promo on Cena was really good. But I thought it was tremendous. And his deal is actually running out. Will be expiring on the 30th. So there's been some talk that ever since PWInsider.com, great site by the way, check them out. Broke the story. John Laurinaitis was scrambling to Edge to get a new deal, and Edge's whole thing is that he felt like his deal isn't as good of a deal. As good as the deal that retired guys get, like guys like Mick Foley or Shawn Michaels. Anyway, the segment, it started, they had the contracts at the table and everything set up in the ring. Teddy Long, welcomes the fans and everything. Cena comes out, then Long introduces Brock Lesnar, then Johnny Laurinaitis, whatever his name is, comes out, says Brock hasn't shown up yet, and that the contract signing will take place on Lesnar's terms. And then he tells Teddy Long to get out of the ring, and then, Laurinaitis tells Long to throw Cena out of the ring. So then Long does, and then Ace goes, he starts doing his, welcome to Raw, I'm John Laurinaitis, blah, blah, blah. Then Edge's music hit, he came out. I think he got a good pop, and he mentioned that his contract comes to an end, will be coming to an end in a few days. And he says he came out to talk to Cena, not the John Cena who he was standing before right there, because he doesn't know who this John Cena is. He said he came to talk to the Cena who was one of his greatest rivals, the one who attacked Edge after Edge slapped John Cena Sr., the guy who put him through a table at their TLC WWE Championship match from 2006, which was also that was a great match too. And he was saying he wanted that Cena. He was saying this isn't that Cena that he knew from back then. And he was saying that Cena has to find that old version of himself. So then he said, so Edge tells Cena that they're both different in a lot of ways, but one thing that they do have in common is their love for the professional wrestling business. And he was saying that Brock Lesnar left for 8 years and doesn't really, and while Cena and Edge were carrying the load, and he was telling Cena to wake up, because if he doesn't, it's going to be like a slap in the face to guys like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, and to him. And he was saying that Lesnar is not in it for the business. He's just in it for the nice paycheck. And so he screams to Cena, "Wake up!" And then he says he's not asking Cena to beat Lesnar. He's telling him to beat him at Extreme Rules. So that was really good. That opening segment was outstanding. I'll say it was outstanding. Edge cut a great promo. The guy's really good. So then we go to the next segment. Lights go out. Chris Jericho's music. It hits, with his bright light jacket or whatever. he and Kofi Kingston had a good match. I thought it was a really good back and forth match. It was one of the better parts of the show, I thought. So then afterwards, there was some good stuff there. The code breaker and then the wall with Jericho was good, and there was some other stuff in there too. There was a lot of good back and forth spots. Jericho eventually got the win with the wall to Jericho. Then Jericho got the mic and then said that Extreme Rules. He's going to become the champion. And he says the Punk knows all about being extreme because he has the extremely alcoholic dad, extreme drug abusing sister, and the extremely morally challenging mom. So then he says the Punk is also an extreme failure as a champion and as a person, and he says that in front of Punk's hometown in Chicago, he'll give Punk will get an extreme beating from him. And then then Jericho says that he's making an extremely nice gesture, and so he got Punk a gift that will help him cope with the embarrassment of knowing that he lost the title to Chris Jericho in his hometown. And then Jericho says that he's going to show that he's the best in the world at everything he does. Yeah, I thought Jericho's promo was good, but the whole Punk's family is Punk's family is addicts and boozers. I think it's getting stale. I thought it was good when they were doing the best in the world stuff, like before WrestleMania, and then when they did, when they had Jericho talk about Punk's dad being an alcoholic, I thought that was good. Then once they got into his sister and his mom or whatever, I thought it's okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. Anyway, so then they showed one of 3 Brock Lesnar clips. The first one was from Backlash of April 21st, 2002, his match against Jeff Hardy. And by the way, all 3 clips they showed were him flattening guys that are currently in TNA. Okay. So then, and like I already so that they showed Brock flattening, beating Jeff Hardy from Backlash 2002. So then, we go to Johnny Ace in his office, talking, on his cell about the contract signing. Then Eve Torres comes in, and Laurinaitis tells her that he wanted to see her because he's looking for an executive administrator, and he thinks she might fit the bill for it. So of course, then Eve being, Eve is supposed to be the new heel or whatever, and she takes it. And whatever, I wasn't really into this. Johnny Ace bores me, Eve sucks. I'm not really into the whole thing. Then they re-showed the Brock Lesnar video from Monday night. By the way, from last Monday night, I should say. Where he said he's not a superstar and entertainer. He's an ass kicker, and he's gonna beat Cena because he can. It was a great video, but for some reason they showed it twice. I don't know why they did that, but it was still a really good video. Then we get CM Punk backstage. Josh Matthews comes into the dressing room and asks about the gift that Jericho gave him. Punk says that it was an extremely poor case of sarcasm. Then he shows the gift. It was a basket full of liquor, full liquor bottles. And he says that he'll give Jericho a gift with Extreme Rules, and he gave the basket to Josh Matthews, saying that because he doesn't have any use for it, so he gives it to him, except for the Jack Daniels bottle. So it was a good promo from Punk, and him giving Josh the basket was kind of comical. Then we had R-Truth versus Lord Tenzai or Albert, whatever you prefer to call him. Albert Tenzai squashed him pretty much. He used he spit the mist, used the claw, slammed him, and that was it. Okay. So then Kane comes out. He talks about how Extreme Rules is his favorite night of the year, and he's saying that Extreme Rules is going to be bad stuff's going to happen, bad things are going to happen for Randy Orton. And he's saying that when he laid out, Kane was saying that when he laid out Cowboy Bob, Randy's dad, he saw fear in Randy's eyes. He felt the fear in him. and he's saying that Randy Orton isn't the Viper now or whatever. And he's saying he's just a scared guy going to his dad, hoping that the nightmare ends. And yet Kane says that he's the monster that Randy Orton will never wake up from. Then Randy Orton shows up on the Titantron and says that once you mess with his family, there's no turning back. And he said that after Kane laid out his dad, he thought he'd return the favor. And then they show Paul Bearer tied up in a wheelchair, gagged over his mouth, with tape over his mouth. And then Orton shoves him into a freezer. So then Orton says, "Okay, come and save your dad," or whatever. And then Kane just takes the mic and laughs about it and says that he could care less about what Orton does to Bear, because it's like he's a monster and he has no intent of saving his dad. So then after Kane goes to he leaves the ring, heads up the ramp. Then Orton comes out and attacks Kane, gets a pipe from under the ring, hits him with it, knocks him over the guardrail or barrier, and then Kane just bails through the crowd, and then Randy's standing in the ring, with the pipe, just like wanting to get at Kane some more. The storyline, I don't know. I haven't really been into it as much. I haven't really been into this. Kane is very hit and miss. Sometimes I don't know. Him being a monster, what have you. He was saying it's like saying that Orton can't beat him because he lost him at WrestleMania, but actually, Orton did beat him in a no DQ match on SmackDown. So I don't know what happened there, but the whole, Paul Bear being, tied to the wheelchair and gagged, it reminded me, it reminded me a lot of, when Edge kidnapped Bear and did the same thing and was throwing the dodgeballs at him, and that was really, and I hated that. So it reminded me of a lot of that. So I wasn't really into it. But I don't know. They could have a good match at Extreme Rules. Because they've booked right. So we'll see what happens. And then we get to another segment where Chris Jericho's backstage, he's walking around, and then Alex Riley comes by and tells Jericho that Punk. Alex Riley tells Jericho that Punk kicked him out of the locker room, drinking out of his basket, wherever. Alex Riley tells Punk he tells Jericho that Punk is having a drink. Jericho doesn't buy it. He asks if he's a setup, if this is a setup, and he asks Alex Riley to show him. So then Jericho kind of walks in the door, spies on Punk and sees Punk, having a drink, and there's an open bottle of Jack Daniels there. For what it was okay. They were just furthering the storyline there. So then there was more on that later. I'll get into that I'll get into that soon. Then we had Big Show and Khali against Cody Rhodes and Alberto Del Rio. Okay match. Alberto and Ricardo just bailed and left Cody high and dry, and then Show chokeslammed him and got the pin. And they announced that Big Show and Cody Rhodes will have a rematch for the Intercontinental title of Extreme Rules, with a split to be determined. So I'm guessing that Cody will regain the title here, because ever since Big Show won it, it hasn't really he hasn't really done anything with that. So I think Cody can use the belt more. He can use the belt more than Big Show. Then Chris Jericho goes to Johnny Ace's office and he says that he saw Punk drinking and that he should be stripped of the title. And Eve says that there's some kind of rule that it's like if you're drunk with him, like there's some kind of policy where it's like if the champion is drunk, they can actually strip him of the belt during the show or whatever. I don't know. So then Jericho says that he wants to have some police out there in the ring to make him take a sobriety test. And he tells Laurinaitis afterwards to award the title to him. So then, Eve says that when Teddy Long was running SmackDown, he would look the other way and he wouldn't, obey the rules fairly or whatever. And then Johnny tells Teddy Long to tell CM Punk that he's being stripped of the title. And then Johnny Ace said to Teddy Long, it's like, oh yeah, JR always told me that when you got the little bad news, have someone else do it. whatever. I mean, like I said, this whole that Punk is turning into an alcoholic stuff is, I don't know, it's really starting to wear thin on me. And Johnny Ace, I was never a big fan of his character either, so not really like, I don't know, not that good for that. I didn't care for the segment too much. Then we go to Brock Lesnar backstage. He had just gotten to the arena, and Josh Matthews asks him where he was at the start of the show. And then he asks him, Josh asks Lesnar if he loses to Cena at Extreme Rules, will Lesnar still be the face of WWE? Then Brock just grabbed Josh, I think, by the collar, and he pulled him up against the wall. He roughed him up a little bit. Then Brock walked out, and then Josh mumbles to himself that he was trying to do his job. And then Lesnar attacked him and just threw him into the interview area. Good stuff, I thought that it's certainly different from what they've been doing in WWE as of late. They're actually having Lesnar be this ass-kicking monster who's just isn't there to F around pretty much. He's just there to kick ass, and that's pretty much it. So then, they go to a commercial, and then when they return, they show Josh Matthews as being taken out on a stretcher. So, and I think that was all I said about him for the rest of the night. And he was trending on Twitter, and Michael Colin King was saying, that'd be great, but not, this isn't the way you want to be trending on Twitter, getting flattened by Lesnar. Okay. That whole having the trending Twitter and trending on Twitter on the corner of the screen is stupid. So they got to quit that. So then we have our next match for the Divas title, Beth Phoenix against Nikki Bella. And by the way, the Bella's deals are also expiring on April 30th, same day as Edge. So what happened was, before the match began, of course, Eve came out and said that the Bella twins pretty much cheat, I guess by doing twin magic, and the other Divas don't do anything. So she said that John Laurinaitis gave her his approval to make this match now a Lumberjill match. So all the other Divas come out and stand at the ring, stand around the ring, and they don't do anything. They pretty much don't do anything, So the match happens, Nikki and Beth, they go to the floor a bit, then I think all the other Divas brawl with each other for a bit. Then eventually it gets back in the ring. Nikki gets the roll-up and the 3 count. It turned out, it looked like, I think Beth hurt her ankle legit, unfortunately, when that happened. So, I don't know if it happened during the match or what happened, but that wasn't why they put the belt on Nikki Bella. That was the plan all along, from what I heard. And as I heard that just a while ago. But originally, when they did that, I thought they were trying to swerve the internet fans by thinking, it's like, well, yeah, she's leaving, but we're going to put the belt on her just to keep the fans guessing or whatever. Match didn't really click. It's unfortunate that Beth got hurt or hurt her ankle or whatever it was that was, she injured. So anyway, so Nikki Bella's the champion. I don't know, there's been talk that maybe Karma or Awesome Kong, Amazing Kong, whatever you want to call her, was going to come in and win the Divas title. So they might put the belt on her when she returns. So then we go to Teddy Long going to CM Punk's locker room, telling him that he's got to go out to the ring for a sobriety test. Punk flips out, he starts throwing a chair onto lockers and everything. That was alright, Then we actually get to the actual sobriety test segment itself. Some people might have found it entertaining and funny, what have you. Me, I just thought it was absolutely painful, and it just seemed to drag on forever. It's like this. Long's in the ring with 2 cops, and then Chris Jericho comes out saying he wants to make sure that this is done right, and he wants to be right there when Long strips Punk of the title and awards it to Jericho. He wants to give it to him right there. So then Punk comes out, and he says that this whole thing is ridiculous, and that everyone else knows it. And it was, whatever, I thought. And so then the cop tells Punk to recite the alphabet backwards, and then Punk was like acting all drunk, and he was saying whatever, and he was saying, no one can recite the alphabet backwards, drunk or sober. And Punk again says how stupid this is. And then the cop asks him to walk on this red line that got in the going across the ring. And Punk says, "Oh, what?" He asks, what line? I don't see anything there or whatever. And then Jericho tells him to quit stalling. Punk stands there on one foot doing he stands on the line, like on one foot doing some Karate Kid reference or whatever. I don't know. Then Punk was saying that he can't concentrate with Jericho out there. He walks along the line and then stumbles over, still acting all intoxicated and smashed by idea. And then, Jericho says that they don't really need any, there's no more evidence needed, and he tells Long to strip Punk of the belt. So then Long asks the cop what he thinks, and the cop says that Punk is obviously drunk. So then the cops walk out, and Jericho says the cops make the right decision, and then Teddy Long, after Jericho screams at him, so asks Punk to hand the belt over. And after a bit, a little offense, then Punk hands the title over to Teddy Long, and Jericho's screaming along to give the belt to him now. And then Punk says to give him that he should get another chance. Jericho says, "How many chances does Punk need?" Then Punk actually recites the alphabet backwards. But he actually did stumble. He said on the ST, he said those forward. But then he walked the line. He walked on the line, and he said, he was walking backwards, and then he did, as he put it, he did the worst moonwalk ever. Then he recited the alphabet, boom, backwards, and then once he got to A, he bashed Jericho, and Jericho looks to escape. Punk goes back after him, and then Jericho heads up the ramp. Punk follows him, and just beats down Jericho more. And then Long gave Punk the belt back, and Punk is holding it over his head, and the personality starts playing over the arena, over the speakers. And and then at the end of the show, even Laurinaitis watching on the in his office on their monitor or whatever backstage. Like I say, I have no idea why they booked this. Some people might have thought it was funny or entertaining, to see Punk fake being drunk, but it was just I couldn't see. I really did not care for this segment at all. I just thought it was a waste. It was just like I knew they were going to have the whole thing where Punk was faking being drunk and that he was really sober or whatever, he was alright. But I didn't really care for the segment. The only good part was when he went after Jericho at the end for me. I thought the rest of it sucked. So, it was just like I just couldn't sit through it. It was difficult to sit through, I should say, for me anyway. That's me. But the match of Extreme Rules should be good, and I think they'll keep the belt on Punk since I think Jericho is going to be taking another sabbatical to do a Fozzy tour or something. So then they show a clip of Brock Lesnar against Hulk Hogan from SmackDown in August of 2002. So just to show how what a monster Brock is, it's like he laid out Hulk Hogan, brother. So then next match was Sheamus against Mark Henry. Before the match starts, there's no referee in the ring, so then we're bringing out Justin Roberts says that Johnny Ace has assigned a special guest referee for the match, and it's Daniel Bryan. Now the thing here is that if Sheamus hits a referee intentionally or not, Johnny Ace is going to fine him $500,000, which is really, it's like a ridiculous amount to have him say. It's like maybe something like 10,000 would have been more believable, but $500,000, come on. But the match wasn't really much, it's just like Daniel was just taunting Sheamus to hit him. He was like, holding his jaw out, and he was pointing, going, come on, hit me, and then that distracts Sheamus, and then he turns around, Mark Henry clotheslines him, covers him, and Danielson makes a fast 3 count. I said, it wasn't much of a match. It was just more of furthering the Sheamus-Daniel Bryan storyline. Then afterwards, Daniel Bryan throws his referee shirt at Sheamus as he heads up the ramp. Then being Daniel Bryan's no longer wearing the referee shirt, Sheamus just goes after him. Pounds the crowd out of him for a bit, throws him into the ring barrier in the ring, and then throws him in the ring. He goes for the brogue kick, but Danielson avoids it and gets Sheamus in the yes lock. So I guess it was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like they're dropping the ball with this too. I mean, it's just like ever since WrestleMania when they had that 18-second match, it's like I don't know. I kind of think the whole thing has been kind of hit and miss, and I thought this week was more of a miss because it's like the whole thing was about it was like Sheamus can't touch a referee, and Daniel Bryan was the referee, and it was like okay, whatever, and then even it's like the yes chant that Daniel Bryan does. It's like it started out good, now it's starting to become a little grating. So it's like I feel like I kind of feel like they dropped the ball with it a little bit this week. I mean, hopefully they'll improve with that. So then afterwards, Sheamus is backstage, and then Matt Striker asks him what his thoughts are on Daniel Bryan. He says that Daniel Bryan is a coward and a snake, and Sheamus says that he's no saint, but he tells Daniel Bryan that he better start praying. Good short promo from Sheamus. I thought that part of it was good. Like I say, this thing could actually, this feud could, could go back to being good again. Same with Punk and Jericho. It's like if they kind of get away from the whole CM drunk stuff. If they just, if they kind of just focus more on, because they have really good matches. I'm sorry if I'm stumbling here, but they're, I feel like these two storylines started out good, and then last night they kind of took a little bit of a nosedive. I don't know, not everyone, other people might have thought that they were, other people like it, but I really didn't care for it as I was watching it. So, and then we have the tag champions, Primo Epico, Rosa Mendes, of course, on ringside, facing Santino Marella and Zach. What the hell happened to my push wire? So, non-title match, of course. So, of course, every time the tag champs are in a non-title match, they lose. And, no exception here. Santino gets the stupid Cobra out, and he pins Primo. There was some back and forth shenanigan crap going on, but, and Santino got the pin on him. It was alright, but, the match was alright. But, like I say, I don't get why they always have the tag champs lose non-title matches almost every time. So then we see Kane backstage. He walks by the freezer that Paul Bearer was left in. He opens the door and gets Bearer out. And Paul Bearer goes, "Oh, Kane, you come to save me!" And Kane's like, I've come to save you from me. And then he pushes Bearer back in the freezer and locks the door. I don't know. I didn't really care. I didn't really care for that. Like I say, it's like first, like I told you, it's like first he gets buried in concrete. That was horrible. You don't want to remember that wreck. Then Edge kidnaps him, has him through the chair, throws the dodgeball at him. Now you got this. So it's like Paul Bearer's like, it's like he's been the victim of some. This is like the third kidnapping he's been the victim of, or whatever. Then backstage, Primo and Epico were arguing, blaming each other as to why they, for losing the match. Like they haven't lost before. And Rosa's standing there pretty much, not doing much anything. Then Abraham Washington comes in, or should I say AW, because apparently he was supposed to forget his name, and that he was actually on TV before. So he says that if they need any guidance, well, first he says he asked them, how come they didn't have any entrance on the show, when they came out, and why were they in the dark match of WrestleMania, and why they're being treated like jokes. They get a little pissed at him about it, and then he says if they need any guidance or want any help from him, he gives them a call. He gives them a card. I don't know what they're doing with AW or whatever you want to call him. First he was like looking to manage Mark Henry, and now he gives out his card to these guys. I'm not sure where they're going with this. Then we have Brodus Clay and Hornswoggle against Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler. The Brodus Clay character is just, oh my god, it's so stupid. I really cannot stomach it. And then they brought Hornswoggle in there as his little brother, as his midget sidekick. I'm not a midget, but they brought Hornswoggle in. This is so craptacular. It's ridiculous. So anyway, the match wasn't really much. Vicky Guerrero comes in the ring, slaps Brodus in the face, So that's a DQ. Then the Funkettes, as I like to call them, Cameron and Naomi, come in the ring. And then Vicky tries to make amends with Brodus, giving him his hat. Then she tries to do the whole Brodus act, and then Hornswoggle bites her in the rear end. And then the crap continued. Like I said, this gimmick is so bad. I just can't stand it. Get it off my, get Brodus Clay's, somebody call my Mama Funkasaurus gimmick out of here. The gimmick sucks, and having Hornswoggle in there makes it even worse. And so then we go to our final Brock Lesnar flattening the guy who's currently in TNA clip, and they show him beating Kurt Angle for the WWE title at WrestleMania 19. But of course, they of course did not show the botched shooting star press that had Brock all loopy afterwards. Then they showed the video again about how Brock's not a superstar, he's an ass kicker. They showed it again, like I said, I don't know why they showed it twice. Then it was time for the contract signing. So Johnny Ace comes out, he talks, blah blah blah. He says he's looking forward to seeing the Cena-Lesnar match. Then Lesnar comes out. Then Cena's music hits. He doesn't come out. And then the fans were doing the "Let's Go Cena." Cena starts doing chant like the whole thing. Then Brock tells Little Johnny to come on out. Lesnar says to Johnny Ace that he came to the show for the contract signing. Cena's too scared to come out and face him. Lesnar says that's all right. He doesn't mind. And he says that Cena doesn't have the ball to show up. And so he says since Cena's not there, he tells Ace to have a seat. And Lesnar says that since he's been back, he's not too thrilled about how things have been turning out. He says that he wants a few changes made, and he's going to have Johnny Ace make them right now. Yeah, because Brock says he's not the same naive farm boy that he was when he left back in 2004. He says that he's an enterprise now, and that the WWE company needs him. So he tells Johnny Ace that from now on, that there's going to be some changes made, and that if anything that's going through Ace's mind will have to be run through by Lesnar. So first he says that first demand Brock says is to have his he wants to get to ride on Vince's jet to and from the arena every Raw. And then he says that when he showed up, he got to beat up someone, that being Josh Matthews. He was saying he doesn't like people, especially the stupid people. And he says that he'll show up whenever he feels like it. And he says he won't be a puppet like the rest of the talent on the roster. He says that he doesn't care what the people think because the fans were booing him. He was saying they can chant, chant "you suck" all you want. I don't care. I'm not here for the fans. And he's saying that he'll be unlike finding Sheamus, he won't be finding him. Johnny Ace will be paying him more. And he says that until all these demands are met, there'll be no match with Cena in Extreme Rules. And he says that if then Lesnar says that if he's the face of Monday Night, also they should change the name of the show, not just Monday Night Raw, but it should be called Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar. So, and then Brock says that if Johnny makes him happy, then he'll make Johnny Ace happy signing the contract. So Johnny Ace agrees to it. And then Brock puts the mic to Johnny Ace's mouth and says, to tell the fans, and John's like, yeah, I agree, okay. And then Brock signs the contract and what have you. That was good, actually. Brock Lesnar's stuff about, like the whole making changes to the show and everything and having good demands and all that stuff, I thought was a good promo. Lesnar's actually been really good since he's returned. So then after all that happened, John Cena's music played again, and this time he came to the ring with a chain around his fist, and then Brock was waiting for him to sign just calmly waiting for him to sign the contract. Then Cena looks at the contract a bit, debating whether or not he's going to sign the thing, and then Brock asks him, what's wrong with him? He tells him sign the contract. So then. Brock says that Cena Cena's just standing there. Brock feels a vibration coming from him, and he likes it because he can feel that Cena's scared to be in the ring with him. And Brock says that he's got Cena afraid and everything. And as he's telling him about that, Cena signs the contract, and then as like they do with every other contract signing, Cena knocks the table over. But instead of a brawl, he and Brock just have a very intense stare down. And then Brock leaves the ring, heads up the ramp, and just taunts Cena. And Cena stares him down, and that ends the show. So a good ending segment, I thought. Like I said, Brock cut a good promo, and him making all the demands, and him being wanting to be the star of Raw was good. And I like that they had. I actually liked that they had Cena come out and actually not speak and cut a cartoony promo. I thought this was really good. I thought this was good. They did just have these. They just intently stared at each other to end the show. So that was the show, and it was John Cena's birthday yesterday, and the whole locker room came out after the show went off the air and sang happy birthday. Clips are on YouTube. You can check them out. So, but again, like I say, I didn't really care for this week's show overall. I thought it dragged. It was 3 hours. I thought that there was a lot of, a lot of direct on the show. The whole thing with the Punk sobriety test did not go for it. I can see where where you might find that entertaining. So that I know Punk is good with it, promos and everything, but this whole Jericho's trying to prove that Punk is not straight edge or whatever. I'm getting tired of it. And also Beth Phoenix apparently is injured. Hopefully she won't be out long. But I heard the plan was originally to put the Divas title on one of the bells at Extreme Rules, and then have Karma come and flatten the bells the next night, because when Karma left last year, the bells were giving her crap, and so Karma was going to be looking to get payback or whatever. But we'll see what happens there. Like I said, I thought it was, I thought that they were doing it just to mess with the internet fans' heads, but it doesn't look like that's what they were doing. So even the Sheamus Daniel Bryan stuff, I thought that I thought it was a little off this week. Just having Danielson be the referee, I didn't go for it, and so I didn't go for that. But hopefully it'll be hopefully things will be really better with Sheamus and Danielson and Jericho Punk, those storylines, because those have been really good. So, but on the whole, I thought this week's show was really painful to sit through. But so I guess that'll about do it. So again, you can want to read my recap. You can check it out at tonyviz.blogspot.com. You can feel free to comment on here on my YouTube channel. Leave a comment. Thanks for those of you who did and who subscribed. And you can feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel here for Tone4L. And that'll pretty much do it. So until then, hopefully I'll be back with a post Impact recap on Friday, and a SmackDown one over the weekend. And until then, this has been my Raw post video recap. And I'm Tony Viz, the Tone, and I'll hopefully be back with a post Impact video on Thursday, or on Friday, I should say. All right, and that's it. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you then.